as the President of the Republic of Liberia. But to our students, when opportunity is given you, you have to make sure that you work hard to achieve what you want to achieve. I remember in 2005, my first debate, I sat with two giants, Ambassador Winston Tubman and Ambassador Nat Barnes, just being a 12th grade student, debating with those giants. I realized that I needed to change my life, and the only way was to go back to the classroom. Because I wanted to be like them, expressing the needs of our country. But I thought that I was not to the task. So we have to be honest with ourselves if we want to change. If you know that the only way you can make it in life is to go to a classroom to learn something, then you must do it. Don't be ashamed. I remember when I get ready to go to school, my kids are also going to school. And my daughter teacher said to me, take her to class. We'll come back and you'll be going to the evening class. I told her, I'm inspired by a lady. She turned 85 and she had her first degree.
And so you hear the message in the music. This is the theme song. Some better still call it the signature tune to this conversation that is on OK FM 99.5 every weekday, Monday to Friday. And so today is the 24th day of the 5th month of the year. So it's 5/24/2018. I'm sure you're catching. 5/24/2018. The 5th month, the 24th day, and of course 2018 is the year. Welcome and a mighty big welcome to the conversation here on OK FM 99.5. We are back here because of you. And it is always our duty to come and talk about our country, helping to make it better. Together, of course. Let me say it forward on behalf of the entire team here at OK FM 99.5. I'd love to welcome you yet again to another presentation of the show. Today I got the belated birthday lady here. After taking all of the makeup and the face powder and the lashes, she's looked normal now. So let me say welcome back to work. A day off for you on yesterday. You back here today, dear Theodosius Red. She's the lady on camera today. That's why you're seeing. For those of you watching us on the Facebook, McDonald Shangar is our sound technician, and Joseph Fala Sese is in the powerhouse, making sure the generator keep beating, generating more power here. And so this is the lone phase you see, but it's a big team here. We're working to make it better. And so here at OKFM, we said everything is okay. No matter what, we will get going. We will not fight. We will disagree and agree, but we would never fight. So welcome to the show. It is a Jan Pike presentation on today, and so I want to reduce that team song at this point. With the time check in the city here at 8 minutes after 3 o'clock local time here in Liberia. And so it's about 10 something for some of our friends there in the US. Wherever you joining the broadcast from, let us all hope that we will stay on together on today until 6 this evening, running through some of the major happenings in the world, and basically coming back home to Liberia to talk about our own subject matter here. So that I'm hoping that your stay will be rewarding, and the interaction with us on the radio will also be a wonderful thing to do. Today we run first to the weather report. The weatherman is reporting today for Liberia, West Africa, that we are sitting currently at 27 degrees Celsius, and we are mostly clouded at this point. Later on this afternoon, the weather is going to move into a direction that will be high. It's going to be sitting at 30 degrees Celsius, and of course that will be high, and of course a shower and thunderstorm around. And later on tonight, it's going to reduce to 23 degrees. That will be low, rather clouded, and accompanied with thunderstorm. Tomorrow morning, your bright start of a day will be sitting at 29 degrees, and of course it's going to get a little bit of shower and thunderstorm around to start your day. And so that's the startup for all of you joining us here on the social media, right? And of course watching on the OKFM live page. Let us hope that it's going to be a wonderful time for us to be together right here on this radio, and of course on the means that you are following this broadcast. Let me acknowledge some of our friends following us on Facebook this afternoon or this morning or maybe this evening based on your location. Alberta Louise, she says, yeah, hi Smith, I'm following you from Sinkor. Is this at Haji Bawazi? I'm following this broadcast from South Korea. I hope I got the name right. Clarence Benson, long time Clarence, how are you? You're following this broadcast from Houston, Texas, the United States of America. Thanks for the job well done. Benzimat Benedict is joining, and he's following here. He said, good day, Smith. And of course, from Morocco, there's Jonah Coleman Jr. I'm following you from Pinzio. Go Pelawan is equally following this broadcast. Let me move further. 40 Barkley says, yeah, big brother. Thanks, big brother, for the program. Watching you from South Korea. 40, how are you there in South Korea? Another person following this broadcast is Vasoko Nimba Jabate Jr., who's following this afternoon from his office. The location of that office is not mentioned. James D. Great is following. watching from Douala Market. Victor Singh says, yeah, I'm Victor and I'm monitoring you live from Capitol Building, Mikap, Liberia, he says, yeah. Africano Nathan, how you doing? Good day at OK FM, powerful team, he says. Hello to the OK FM family. Alex Keto Flomo is also joining in. Daniel Bozio says, yeah, today is my birthday, and okay, thank you very much, and pray for our country. J. Josiah K. Powell Senior, happy belated birthday. I'm sure he's going to deal here. And so out of the viewers joining in, and I'm seeing people inviting and joining into the broadcast space, I just want to wish all of you a wonderful time. Josephine Roberts, good morning, I'm sure it's from your end, and good afternoon from ours here. Depends on the location. How you doing, Jojo? Emmett Jones, good afternoon, Smith and the family. And Vafle Sharif, and he's also joining in here from his base, where of course I'm sure he's following the broadcast. So folks, it's just about 13 minutes after 3 o'clock. Between time today, I will be going live to the United States of America today. I'm sure I'm going to do that interview at 3:30 as part of our talking point here for you. And I will be talking here this afternoon live to the US. I will be talking to Dr. Papa Kwesi Ondo, of course, president and chairman of the Ondo group. We'll be talking about some very serious investment issue. Of course, he's been doing a lot in terms of the investment in Africa, and of course, is sticking on to Europe. It's standing down to the United States of America, the GN Bank, the RALJ, the LIFIC, and of course the OKFM and others are gradually incorporated, and they are part of the group Ondo. And so I'll be talking to Dr. Papa Kwesi Ondo today at 3:30. He will be joining me live on the line here to talk about one big development in the group Ondo, and it's going to get very interesting for us to get some detail about that right on the show at 3:30. But before we hit the mark at 3:30, there's some more trending development that we can all talk about. 4 o'clock, better stay flip side of 4 o'clock, as promised on yesterday. Mr. Costa will be here as my guest. We'll be talking basic trending issues in the country, from price control to the government of the day, the CDC-led government, and of course the situation of the economy, the way Liberians are discussing the issue, and very, very interesting point here being discussed. So Mr. Costa will be with me on the show at 4 o'clock. Flip side, 5 o'clock, we'll be discussing the budget. I will be talking to a man who understands the budget matters very well. He's from the Legislative Budget Office. He's going to be here to share his understanding of the issues we are talking surrounding the budget, relating to the ongoing hearing, the revenue component of the budget that is almost in the concluding stage of its first week of hearing. So that we will announce the name of that guest when we hit the mark at 5 o'clock right on the show. But let me trend you across Africa quickly before we come to Liberia and get prepared for that conversation coming here with Dr. Papa Kwesi Ondo. So be there right on the conversation. So let me start up quickly. I'm going right to Nigeria. And the reason why we're going to Nigeria, because there's this developing story coming out of Nigeria that Nigerian soldiers have raped women and girls who fled the insurgency by militant Islamic group Boko Haram. Amnesty International is reporting that story. The information is that troops separated women from their husbands and raped them, sometime in exchange for food, Wow. In exchange for food, women are being raped by Nigerian soldiers. The human rights group is reporting. The right group added thousands of people have also starved to death in the camp in northeastern Nigeria since 2015. Amnesty International added in her report. Nigerian military has dismissed the allegation as malicious and false, and these false reports, they said, which are capable of derailing the good work being done by their patriotic and selfless soldiers, but stop, the military added in a statement. So it's a claim and counterclaims development coming out of Nigeria relating to women and girls who are running out from insurgency by Islamic group Boko Haram, being raped, some of them being exchanged for food, and of course that the Nigerian army, they've rubbished that report and said that is very, very, very far from the truth. Okay, so just so that you follow up that development, you are in the know that on yesterday we reported to you here about some story coming out of the Governance Commission, and that development is now a development being talked about in our trending media setting. We told you yesterday that a gentleman by the name of Prince Bloji has gone to the Governance Commission in an attempt to take over as the executive director of that agency or that commission. And on the 5th of April 2018, my understanding is that the chairman of the Coalition for Democratic Change recommended Prince Bloji to the Governance Commission for the post of Executive Director. That communication was written on the 5th of April. The chairman wrote the communication to the Commission for the post of Executive Director. The chairman revealed that the gentleman in question, Prince Bloji, has met the rigorous vetting standard of the CDC. So based on that, he's recommended Prince Bloji for the governance position job. After the month of that recommendation, surprisingly, on yesterday, the unhappy family and of course people that the Governance Commission, they are yet to act on the communication written to them by the chairman of the CDC and the chairman recommendation. So Prince yesterday went there with a group of partisans to take over. Was that forcibly? But to take over. And I'm sure this is not what the new Liberia should be. The party chairman recommend, and the recommendation is yet to be acted on, and then the gentleman recommended went yesterday to take over of the Governance Commission. I managed to get a copy of that communication reading on the 5th of April 2018 to E. Otello Gonga. Mr. E. Otello Gonga is the chairman, Governance Commission, Republic of Liberia. The letter from the Coalition for Democratic Change was addressed to him. And it says here, Honorable Gonga, the bearer of this letter, Mr. Prince T. Bloji, with telephone numbers attached in this communication, the numbers here, being the member of the Coalition for Democratic Change, the CDC, has expressed interest to be in the employed of the Governance Commission, the GC, as executive director. So he expressed the interest. That's what this communication says. he has been thoroughly vetted with regard to the academic criteria, and of course as qualified and engaged and eager, that is, to contribute his quota to the progressive agenda of the CDC-led government. Henceforth, I'm strongly recommending him for employment in the capacity stated herein. Thanks very much, as I look forward to your unhindered cooperation. This this communication was written on the 5th and signed here by Mobake Molu, National Chairman, Coalition for Democratic Change. I'm sure it was based on this that Mr. Prince blowed on yesterday went to take charge of the office recommended by the chairman to the chairman of the Governance Commission. This is the new Liberia, but I'm not sure that is how we want to see a new Liberia move in. It's now turned to be a talking point, and people are expressing their dissatisfaction about this. And yesterday there was this standoff at the GC, and that is very, very serious, and is becoming a situation to talk about. If the Coalition of Democratic Change as a governing party will want to send people, and I'm told as of July, just when the budget for 2018-2019 is approved, there will be more drama in terms of employment in government. People from the CDC, people who are expected to go to work, people already in the employed of government in other sectors. I'm told there is this claim of instruction for people to take people to various ministries and agencies. So what I'm hearing is a little bit slow right now because the budget is still under scrutiny. But let's see when the National Legislature approves the 2018-2019 budget, what will happen with employment in government and people taking over offices in the country. Time is running out, so let me slip in another thing for us. I will come back to our talking point as soon as we conclude that discussion with Dr. Papa Kwesi Ondo. So but let me slip in here. You are aware that the Global Witness report on corruption and of course the government effort, the International Integrity Group Global Witness, I told you sometime this week, called on the Liberian leader, His Excellency George Manuel Weah, to publish the list and the recommendation of the Special Presidential Committee report and the huge scandal that engulfed that deal. So the Global Witness said they will be hoping that the president of the country will publish the recommendation or the report from the committee. The 2013 approval of that deal was marked by some 200,000 worth of bonus payment by the state-owned agency to some top officials. And so the NOCA CEO, Randolph McLean, the National Investment Committee chair, Nadi Davis, Finance Minister Amara Kone, Mining Minister Patrick Sendolo, and NOCAD Board Chair Robert Salif were all in the play in this report. The issue of the name mentioned with the board chair Robert Salif who is not a stranger in the ballot discussion of Liberia. The former president's son, was reportedly working on the pro bono at the time. The Justice Minister Costa and Robert Sirleaf, son of the president, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, was reportedly working on pro bono. So the Minister of Justice and Robert Sirleaf were working on pro bono on this no-card arrangement. However, the two received a payment of $35,000 according to that report. President Weir, in his recent cabinet discussion in Grand Bassa County, said that he will make sure those caught in the report will face the law. However, he fell short of naming who's been hooked in that report. The British investigative firm said in its late Tuesday statement, the copy of the communication I read for you here on the other day, it is unclear what step the government will take to act on the recommendation of the committee. I will urge you to stay around because this is very interesting. We will talk about this and other trending issue, but I've already booked a 3:30 slot to go live to the United States of America. So I'm asking you to hold your peace, stay with me. I got more information out here for you. We'll be talking about some of the issues in town, very, very, very close to talk about. But let me see if I can now attempt to connect to the US to talk some investment issues. It's not just about the politics we hear on this radio. Yes, we talk politics because we are so much interested in the ongoing political discussions taking place in our country. But it is not just about the politics that matter to us. It is equally very, very important that we get on talking here. I'm trying now to go to the US. As soon as my line can get connected, I will definitely be leaving this studio to talk to the president and chairman of Group Ondo, so that we can get some very interesting development. It is not just about Liberia. It is something very interesting for all of us to know and follow. I'm hoping that my producer can help me connect this call. Okay, I'm sure now. I hope I'm in the right place. This is OK FM 99.5 from Liberia, West Africa. And I hope we got our connection through now to talk to Dr. Papa Kwesi Ondo. Can I say good morning to you, Dad?
Yes, good morning, and how are you?
Well, I'm doing good, and how are you?
I'm doing just fine.
Welcome to OK FM 99.5 from Liberia, West Africa.
Thank you.
We are following the development of the Group Ondo, and it is very interesting to hear about the latest development coming with the group out of the United States of America. Can you give us an insight of what has happened to the Southside Chicago-based RSF Bank that is about to be rebranded under this group?
Well, thank you, and I want to send greetings to your numerous listeners in Liberia and elsewhere listening to you through the internet. As I'm sure you know, in April of 2016, we acquired a small bank on the south side of Chicago called ISF Bank. And since then, we have been working to stabilize the bank, turn it to profitability, and make it safe and sound for everyone. We believe that we have achieved our initial goal, and we have become proud of what the bank has become in this short period of time. We always wanted to be able to provide services not just to the people on the south side of Chicago or throughout Chicago, but our aim was to try and link this bank to Africans and people in the Caribbean. And so we believe that it is the right time to do that linkage and to begin that linkage with rebranding it from ISF Bank to GN Bank so that it would have a similar brand recognition as GN Bank in Liberia, in Ghana, and elsewhere.
Sound very, very interesting. Let me say congratulations for achieving that and adding that to the GN Bank investment or the GN Group investment in not just in Africa, it's also now in Europe and now there in the United States. But let's find out in terms of what is expected with services from the banking sector. How is it going to be there in the US and how has it been so far?
Well, so far, I must say that it has been, first of all, a challenge which we have had to live up to. And I'm glad to say that we have managed to find the right people and the right technology to make it happen. Let me just quickly also say that the legal officer who has been helping us recently to deal with issues that have come from the regulator is a young lady who is from Liberia. So there is a good Liberia connection. So she works for us in the U.S. And then we also have a couple of people from Ghana as well who are now in Chicago working. So we've got people from direct African descent assisting in this enterprise in the U.S., this ISF Bank, soon to be called GN Bank. So we are utilizing all the resources that we have in the U.S. and in Africa to have this turnaround happen completely and rapidly. Now, one of the things that we want to do is to ensure that we introduce new products. There is a new product we are going to introduce in July called Pay Global. Pay Global, I know, will soon be available in Liberia, so we're going to link it and attach it to ISF Bank in Chicago in July to make all of this worthwhile and make it easier for people to transfer money within the U.S. from about 2,600 banks, and then be able to transfer money directly from the U.S. to Liberia or to anywhere else in the world. So we are going to be able, through this, to achieve a linkage between the U.S. and Africa and the Caribbean. So this is a good step. And there's a lot that we believe we'll be able to achieve.
Okay, so I will come back to you to talk about the services later on, but it tells me that it's going to be a very huge tax for you to change an 84-year-old Chicago bank into a local and international powerhouse. That is time consuming. How do you intend to make this work?
Well, first of all, we had planned this for quite a while, and so we were ready for it.
Okay.
And so we're just implementing our strategies.
Okay, implementing this. the strategy. So let's talk about the side of it that how you made mention of. You will invest in new technology when the bank is rebranded to become part of the GN Bank. What exactly in terms of technology that you will be introducing in the investment cycle?
Well, there's mobile banking, including the use of the mobile product that we call Pay Global. Mm-hmm. There is also, we want to offer corresponding banking relationships with banks in Africa and the Caribbean. We are looking to adopt products that will make it simpler and easier and faster for people to use the internet to do banking with us from wherever they are in the world, and some other things. So we believe that out of that small bank, we're going to reach out particularly to Africa and the Caribbean, make it easier for people to do personal banking and business banking.
So let's talk about the electronic money. I'm hearing something about the GN mobile money. You already made mention of the Pay Global. How is it going to improve the system?
Well, the GN mobile money, which should be working in Liberia soon, translates into Pay Global as well. So you can imagine that if we have Pay Global in the U.S. linked to a bank, Pay Global and GN mobile money in Liberia and Africa, you've got a direct link. Things will be made easier. Money transfers will be made direct, and you wouldn't have to go through many interventions in order to be able to send money from one side to the other. So it is all to make things and banking more convenient.
Let me be specific to Liberia now, since we've talked about the U.S. and the investment situation now there. With all eyes on technology, how you say will soon be in Liberia, especially with the GN mobile money and Pay Global. Is that any good news with definite time that the services you made mention of will be part of the GN Bank technology system here in Liberia?
Well, first of all, Pay Global is licensed to do business in the U.S. and in the U.K.
Okay.
So anybody who has people or relatives or friends in the U.S. or the U.K. can use Pay Global and send money to them in Liberia today. Mm-hmm. And they can go to GN Bank and get their money today. So once you have a phone, this can happen immediately. So it's not something they can wait for. However, we are waiting for Central Bank of Liberia approval to have GN mobile money working in place and Pay Global money transfer working in place. I expect that within the next 2 months, all the approvals will be given so that the people in Liberia would enjoy these services. It's very, very convenient service and safe.
Very, very convenient in terms of providing the services here. But we lost that Dr. Papa Kwesirindu on the line. I'm trying to reconnect. Just one or two more questions follow up, and then I will come back to get on talking. Stay with us. You are with us on The Conversation right here on Orchid FM 99.5. This is The Conversation. We're trying to reconnect, and as soon as that connection is done, we're talking about this very, very big investment, and of course success development of the GN Group, and of course working very well. We're talking to the president and chairman of the group. And so that you are back with me on the line here. I was just about to place a question to you, and so we can pick up from this end to talk about the investment in Africa. Here, Liberia is of no exception. The investment here, and the economy of Liberia. Are there new plans? Are you thinking about something about Liberia in the near future, or is it coming anytime soon in terms of more investment?
Well, you know that we have adopted Liberia as Africans and as your neighbors, and so we don't make any distinction between Ghana, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire. We are all African, and we believe in the future of the Liberian economy. And so we have not just invested in LEFIC, now with over $15 million of loans to Liberian businesses, GN Bank. We are also restructuring Kendeja, RLJ Kendeja Hotel. We are going to be into real estate. You'll find very soon that we're constructing a couple of office buildings in Monrovia. And so there are a number of things that we will do. And I want people to understand that when we come, we're coming as investors who belong in Liberia, not as some foreign people coming to take some money and run away and go home. We have come to stay. So we are going to be part of the Liberian economy. And some of us will also find some places where we can perhaps put up a structure here and there that we can personally come and relax in Liberia. So we are there. We're there to stay, and we're going to be part of the system. And we have confidence that whatever the problems and difficulties Liberia has gone through, that we'll work our way through them. Liberians will find a solution, and we can all enjoy being part of a stable, peaceful, and buoyant system in the country.
Well, no Liberians following you around.
So let me thank you for this opportunity to talk to your listeners, and I hope that another time we can have some more discussion on these and other topics.
Okay, Dad. So let me say thank you for affording us this time and bringing us up to speed as well with the current operation. It is always our pleasure every time we talk to you. There's a walk here we call the Orchid Health Walk. We hope you are here to join us on Saturday and to do some very good exercise.
Well, let me wish you good luck with it, and I hope many people join in the walk and make it a very, very successful thing, and hopefully you will have many more to come in the future.
Dad, thank you. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
So, yes, well said right there. And I'm sure investment will definitely pick up in Liberia. And you heard him talk about Kendeja, RLJ, GN Bank, and of course, Orchid FM as well. He's talking about very big investment coming to Liberia. The recent achievement by this group is to transform and, of course, secured the RSF Bank, a very Asian bank there in Chicago. That bank, I'm sure, has been the only bank in that Caribbean market, and so right now it is going to be GN Bank, of course, rebranded as GN Bank, and so we were talking to the president and chairman of Group Undo speaking right here on the conversation. Folks, we are still together, 4 o'clock. Mr. Heron Costa will be here with me, and so we are still training. That's part of our training discussion going on. So we were talking before we got onto the line to talk to Dad on that investment here, and talking about the Global Witness team request to the president to publish the committee report and ensure a thorough, fair investigation into those involved in the 2013 Exxon deal. It is promising to hear that the president of the country even is thinking about the investigation and bringing to book those involved in the 2013 Exxon deal seriously. And that's what Jonathan Gang and his team of campaigners on this global witness are urging. Mr. President, can you please publish what the committee has found out, and of course what the recommendations are? They have asking the president to ensure those who broke the law are held to account, whether they are in government or government officials or companies representatives. So that is a very serious concern. I'm sure Liberians, we are all concerned about that development relating to that global witness report. The president set up a five-member special presidential committee on April 17. That committee has made a report, and of course the Exxon 2013 purchase of Liberia Block 13 oil leasing likely enriched some former government officials who may have legally owned the block. The state oil agency, NOCAR as we call it here, also made unusual large payment to senior government officials who authorized the 2013 deal. Block 13 was originally awarded to NOCAR in 2005, and of course to Liberia Anglo Company Broadway Consolidated Pepicust, that's BCP. Then in 2007, the block was ratified by the Liberian legislature through alleged bribery, and choosing that word quite well, alleged bribery. But global witness evidence showed that the company was likely part-owned by former Lands, Mines and Energy Minister Jonathan Mason and the former Deputy Minister Moba Willie. So that investigation is picking up pieces and names of people here and there, even though the Mason and Willie are suspected of granting the oil block to a company in which they held interest, while they were also ministers in 2005, and which was illegal under the Liberian law. Exxon said they knew that the Block 13 was originally awarded to through a bribery kind of thing, and it was being purchased when they purchased Block 13. There was some documentary or some information coming out of this entire report. Global witness evidence showed that it structured the transaction in a way to skip the anti-corruption law by using a Canadian company, Canadian Overseas Petroleum Limited, COPL they call it, as a go-between to buy the block. So there's been all surrounding this thing, and I'm sure what exactly it has been boiled down into here is to make sure that those who are allegedly involved in this entire global witness NOCAR report are brought to justice. Now we are calling on the president and his team, as they have promised, to make sure that yes, we see what is in the report and see how the government intend to move on with that report. Okay, so I got 12 minutes to go down to 4 o'clock. If you just join in, this is the conversation. We are on OKFM 99.5. We are trending the issues and picking up the pieces. Yesterday, the National Elections Commission held a press conference for the purpose of providing clarity to the Liberian people as to where we sit with the conduct of the senatorial by-election. There's all been the discussion about money, whether there's money in the country to conduct the election. There's been this run word of words, claim and counterclaim as to the priority of the election. We've already passed the constituted date set for the election. The NEC on yesterday had a press conference, and the press conference was all geared towards bringing all of us up to speed. You will recall in the NEC last press conference on May 18, they announced that the NEC was unable to conduct the Moserado and Bond County senatorial election within the constitutional time frame. That's what they said, of 90 days because of lack of sufficient funding to the process at the time. So that's been clear. They said that yesterday at the time. So the NEC announced on yesterday. They said we also announced at the time the government of Liberia has provided 500,000. That was on the previous press conference. 500,000 United States dollars for conduct of the by-election. Funding received that far following that press conference. The commission has been meeting with relevant stakeholders to resolve the funding issue for the by-election. Mr. Jerome Kokoyaron yesterday says he was pleased to announce that the Liberian government has provided additional 1,900,000. That's additional 1,09,938 United States dollars for the by-election. He says the total that brings to the total amount provided by the government of Liberia as 1,509,938 United States dollars. That is what the NEC has received in total. He also gave us a breakdown on yesterday that the partners to the National Elections Commission through the election project with donation from UNDP, the EU, Sweden, the Irish Aid, and of course Canada have committed the amount of 565,835 United States dollars to the by-election. The United States Agency for International Development, UC, through AFES, the chairman of the National Elections Commission, said they've also committed 11,440 United States dollars to that's 50 United States dollars to the process. The total amount received by the National Elections Commission, or the total amount received and committed for the conduct of the by-election so far, according to the National Elections Commission, is now 2,085,233 United States dollars. That level, an outstanding amount, outstanding that is 690,000. Let's get it right. 690,766 United States dollars, and 6 United States dollars and 45 cents. The total budget for the election, according to the National Elections Commission, is 2,777,929 United States dollars and 45 cents, agreed upon by the National Elections Commission and the government of Liberia. 5 minutes to go until 4 o'clock. They said they've done the international procurement with the amount on hand. The commission is consummating the agreement for the international procurement for the printing of ballots and provision of pre-markets for the by-election. They've said they've already concluded some of the activities for the successful conduct of the senatorial by-election. The National Elections Commission chairman also said the commission have concluded nomination of candidates for the 2 by-elections. 11 of the aspirants process have been notified of the acceptance of their nomination applications. Complaint against Honorable Marvin Cole, senatorial aspirant of Bond County on the ticket of the Coalition for Democratic Change, is being heard by the independent hearing officer. Assessment of polling places in Bond County has been completed, while the assessment of polling places in Moserado County is ongoing. Printing of final registration roll for replacement of lost and damaged voters' card is ongoing as well. So that's the update from the National Elections Commission as of yesterday. The setting of the new date, which is now the issue of contention. With the financial issue significantly resolved, the chairman of the National Elections Commission said, the next issue of concern is the new date for the holding of the by-election. As you are aware, the NEC is without authority to set a new date. The Commission is therefore holding consultation with relevant authority of the government to remedy the date issue. The NEC will inform the Liberian people through the media, that's members of the press, on the new date for the by-election as soon as those consultations are concluded. So now that we've gotten sufficient money now to get this done and going, we can say thanks to the government of Liberia, the partners to the National Elections Commission. We are now looking at the consultation ongoing for the smooth conduct of the senatorial by-election. Folks, today the economic freedom fighters of Liberia, this group, every time I hear the name of the group, it is not that it is comical, but I'm sure they are growing in strength. Today they've said they've written a communication to the President pro tempore, and they wrote another communication to Honorable Dr. Buffer Chimba, who is the Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, Capitol Building, Monrovia, Liberia. The EFFL, the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia, in their communication to the Honorable Senate and members of the House of Representatives through the Speaker office, says here, I would just want to read 1-2 paragraph of this letter, or some of the lines in it, with all of the greetings here. Therefore, the EFFL is asking the government to put stop to the financing agreement. They've asked the government to put stop to the financing agreement until further investigation are conducted and standard of the IMF regarding loan agreement are met. That's the take of their communication. Even though they said the EFFL investigation are still ongoing, we have been able to discover that the government of Liberia has entered into that's an MOU with a company that does not exist. So they are raising claim here in the letter that the MOU signed by the government of Liberia and the loan agreement with that company does not exist. That's that information, and they thought to pass the information on to the national legislature. They said the group that the government signed the loan agreement with, that group has been dissolved. Even if the company was stayed in existence, the communication to the Speaker and the pro tem says the company liabilities were limited by sheer 1,000 United States or $750, which we think is troubling for our country future. No wonder the Eton guy could not take the GOL officials to Singapore to sign the agreement, because they were in the note of that it would have been a crime in Singapore, since the company does not exist under the law of Singapore. But instead, they took the government of Liberia officials to Hong Kong, and an offshore and natural jurisdiction. So they are raising concern and raising the issue about the group that the government of Liberia signed this agreement with, and said this group does not exist, and there is no need that the Liberian legislature grant and in the hearing about this MOU, they've written a communication to the Speaker and the pro tem to halt discussion until further investigation into what they discovered about this group can be thoroughly heard or investigated. This is a communication, a letter. They wrote this letter today, and they sent me a copy of this communication. So we are hoping that we all can now start to check and do further investigation on this group about the legitimate status of this group, so that the government of Liberia can be in the right deal and not in the wrong deal, and get involved into things that will cause serious embarrassment for the country. Folks, we stay right here, and if you just join us, this is the conversation, OK FM 99.5. We are waiting the arrival of our guest now, and I'm sure he should be on his way here as per the broadcast time and arrangement. We are expected to talk to Mr. Costa, a political commentator. Sometimes it's difficult to properly introduce him. So if he's now a journalist or he's still a political commentator, we'll be talking about it. But folks, let me give you some time to get your introduction based on what we've brought to you from all of the trending news on our network this afternoon until our guests can arrive. Call me on 0777700995, 0880939395. Let's go to the line and start to take your introduction. First caller right here. How are you? I'm not even going to tell you to move away from the radio on that one. So let me stay with your introduction. Give me the call. Let me take the next one. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, how are you?
Yeah, I'm Pastor Kumari. I call you for all of the ambience of the Good Governance Forum.
Please go ahead, Fasu.
Yeah, I'll listen keenly to you setting up the basis for your discussion. Primarily among it is the senior office of the Eskom Fanato, the loan agreement between the Liberian government and our Eskom Fanato. I think, we all out of the fact that the people of the Southeast need development. They need easy access road in terms of road connectivity. But then we are questioning the legitimacy and the status of this company called Eskom Financing, the Eskom Financing. We question the legitimacy of this company. We are also talking about the sovereignty of our country. We agree that the government has to improve the road condition of the Southeast, but we don't want to do it at the detriment of the Liberian state. So we are currently asking the government to review this agreement keenly before going into it.
Thank you ever so much. I will just take 5 of your calls now. Mr. Costa is already here, and we'll go on talking just in the next few minutes. Let me take 5 more of your calls, then we'll close the line, and we'll go on with my studio guest. Caller right here, how are you?
Yes, Mr. Good afternoon.
Yes, how are you?
This is Joseph Esbo, a member of the EFFL.
Please go ahead.
Thanks for reading our petition that we gave to the both houses here, the speaker and the Senate pro tem of the second poll of the Singapore deal. We know that this deal, we not satisfied with the deal, and we want the government to critically look at what is in it for us and for those that we're taking the money from, because we found out that the group was not existing, but only because we contacted the group to get money. That's how they decided to put in the article of incorporation. They were somehow drowning. So we want the government to please look into this deal so that we can affect our generation for tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you ever so much. Let's stay around the lines. We got 4 more calls to take. 0777 7009 950 880 939395. How are you?
Yes, hello. It's TOBY, and I want to say good afternoon to your listeners.
Please
My
go
name
ahead.
is Philip Sharif. I join you from Capital Bay this evening.
Please go ahead, Philip.
Yeah, well, you see, Smith, before we start to talk about people, we must know who they are. You guys, some young guys who call themselves EFFL, who knows nothing about research or whatever, coming out writing communication, talking about the loan agreement that was, that is currently going on, the government did not pass you a legitimate institution. That information is false. The government have no interest in doing business with institutions that is not recognized. So I don't know where they're coming from. And we are not to even stay long on those kind of a conversation because these are guys who cannot even read one.
For me, I'm not going in that direction. Why we don't want to stick around the issue? We want to go to people on on different stuff right here. Okay, so let me look for 3 more, and then we'll slip in. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
You're holding this line. Your background is just too noisy.
Hello. Hello.
If you change your location, maybe another day, another time, we will take you. Right now, there's no time to hold on. 0777 7000995. Let me slip in the next one. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, man.
And Peter Kessel sound.
Yeah, thank you. How is it?
Well, I'm doing good.
Yeah, thank you for the topic, and thank you for having us informed as it relates to what is unfolding in our country and abroad. And, to the issue on this loan agreement, what have you, it is good that we try to erect the necessary checkpoint to avoid future embarrassment. You know and I know that our great-grandparents, those that took this land to be their personal property, they stayed in a position where today we still face with a lot of embarrassment that we cannot easily develop our country. So should we continue to go in the same direction? We say no, because the guys came on board with change for hope. If you come with change for hope, I think the order of the day should be transparency. So to be frank with you, before I drop a Lanceo man, let them be clear to us. This identical agreement should not be something that will take in executive session. It should be something that we all should be aware of, because if I cannot be one of those to pay towards the loan, my daughter or my son will be paying in the future to come. So we should know what is unfolding. They should not be behind the hustle that they should go do. Let us try to be ourselves and start behaving like people that we are not.
All right. Thank you, Peter. Looking for the last 2 now. And so this one is just about coming in. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, how are you?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, you're live with us. How are you?
Okay, this is a Costa, William, a proud son of Maryland County, and for you. It's a manifestation to be on your platform. And let me say to our comrades there, who call themselves EFL, they say that our government, they know our government is not accountable to them. So the issue is what we got professional men and women in our government that sat down cleverly and analyzing and feel that taking the law will be beneficial to the Liberian people. So the government is not accountable for setting left basic group that call themselves EFL. So are going to stop any law agreement. So we are saying that our government is sophisticated enough and they know what group for the Liberian people, and we come but we have to remain focused and not be disturbed by any distractions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Speak our Liberians. It's a wonderful thing to do. And, I'm just looking at my dear friend and brother Costa sitting ahead of me, and this is what he goes through every morning. So we'll be talking today a lot. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, how are you, sir?
This is Alex here. Mr. Smith.
Yeah, Alex, how are you? From Waterside, or you stay on your sick bed?
Mr. Toby, thank you very much. I must admit you are contributing your quota to the Republic of Liberia. You are doing well.
Thank you.
So I must say thank you. Having said that, I want to speak to the issue that has to do with global wisdom report.
Yeah.
I think the president, we believe in the president because we know his upbringing. So we have the hope that those that are mentioned in the investigation, I think the president will muster the courage. They will be prosecuted under the letter because we don't want our president to fail the Liberian people. We want for the right thing to be done. Because over the past time, we Liberians, we have suffered a lot. So I think those people that were vote, I think they will not get away free. They will be prosecuted.
Okay, Alex, thank you. Thank you, and let me say thanks to all of you. Let me take just a few bars of a song here so that we can share pleasantry. We'll return shortly, and then you'll be hearing Mr. Heron Costa and I will be on the conversation together until on the flip side of 5 o'clock. Just one day, it's gonna be alright. Where were you then? We're gonna have some good time. We'll have some celebration all across the world, just in every nation. Join us on Saturday, the big walk in town. Is it okay to FM Have Walk? Come and meet new friends. Do your exercise. Good for you, good for me, good for everyone. Good for the nation. Or half the nation. A beautiful classic right here. Taking you back in time. Old Town Boy. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be nice. Solid one. All of you viewing us on the social media. Ruby, how are you? He's so down with old music as well. Mervyn V, James Dow, and the rest. Let's bring back all of those happy days and happiness. The music, every time I try to get in my music mood, and I will be time the clock on the wall will tell me, hey, my man, you talking, you're doing so much music, so let's leave the music stuff. We announced to you on yesterday at the same time that on today we've invited, sometimes I said it's difficult to introduce you, my brother. So a commentator, a journalist, an advocate, but a son of the soil. So we are pleased today to bring to this studio Mr. Costa. He's not on the big platform, the early morning platform of the Costa show, so he's transitioned today on the OK FM conversation, and I'm sure during the days of politics we talk about his ambition for wanting to be a representative of District Number 6. It was our last interaction live on this radio. He's back here today. Costa, let me say a pleasant good day and welcome to this platform.
Thank you very much, mate. It's a pleasure being here, and I'm a huge fan of your program.
Oh, thank you.
I watched even from the States.
Okay.
And when I'm in country at this time, I monitor the show. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, and I appreciate your time as well for accepting the invite, by the way, as a friend and colleague discussing national issue. You're on this radio every morning and doing similar thing here and talking about the nation. But how is life?
Life is good. I'm back from the States for a school break. We're on summer break, and I'm glad I ended the semester with a 3.9 GPA.
Oh, okay.
Great, yeah. So
congratulations.
I'm having a great time. Thank you.
How is it with the transition? I see you early morning in the state, looking at the time difference, and wanting to just talk about national issue. And when you're back home, you're quickly adjusted to the time. What is it like?
I don't know how I manage, but it's amazing. Because in the States, I wake up at 3 a.m. And get prepped and be on by 3:30. In Liberia, I wake up at 5, and it just happens almost instantly when I return home. Yeah, so it's I do.
Let's talk basically now, and the election is over. It's done. We finally got a president, President George Mani Weah. I hear that we should deactivate the mood of the election now and go on talking on other national issues. But you've been picking issues after issue every day, and your followers, your friends, and people who listen to the platform on national issue are now caught between the scissors to know where exactly you sit as you propound the issues relating to Liberia.
Well, after the elections, I was very clear about my position. I had said that I was going to give the administration the opportunity to lead. President Weah had not been president before becoming president, and I felt that it was necessary for us to allow him a breathing space to sort of get his feet wet. And he took over in the most difficult period, and it has not been easy. The economy was shattered. Of course, we all know things are very, very bad in the country. Prices are high, but I made a position. I made a position that I was going to be supportive of the administration. Being supportive, what I meant is that it did not mean that I would lose my critical edge, what I'm known for. It means that I would seek to identify areas of concern to the people and bring these issues to the government to address. And so far, I have gotten some results. You know, the president has shown to me that he is interested in listening, and he's been reacting positively to some of the issues that we've raised, and I think it's a good thing. And that is how I see. And areas where I believe that they are not doing the right thing, I point them out and advance recommendations. And I do so privately, and I do it sometimes when necessary publicly on the radio.
But let me find out here. Let me take you back to your few comments. I'm not sure anyone have become president before becoming president. So everyone who's taken power in our country will go there for the first time. We haven't gone to a stage where there's a president who left and got re-elected. So they've all come in as people taking a new office, and we've criticized past presidents on the same subject matter.
It's true. Smith, you have to be fair. Mr. President, Mr. Weah, I campaigned against President Weah. I campaigned against him, and I supported Vice President Boakai, and that was my choice, and I have no regret whatsoever. But Mr. Weah is president. Mr. Weah takes over during the most critical period. One of the things I didn't want people to say is that this Costa hates this man. Costa does not hate President Weah. Costa wants the government to succeed for the sake of the people. For as long as President Weah demonstrates to me the will to act in the interest of the Liberian people, he will enjoy my support. And my support does not mean my silence on issues that matter.
Why do you think people feel that you hate the president?
Well, it was during the campaign, the rhetoric of the campaign. Of course, President Weah himself said it when he was elected. He went to the Senate in his final appearance at the Senate to bid them farewell. He said, look, during the campaign, we made some comments. Some of them were good, some of them were bad. We all did that. We all were guilty, except for some of you guys who try very hard to be balanced in the middle, you know, which I must say is a very commendable thing. But so during that time, of course, you know, Smith, how the tensions were high. People thought at some point in time it was as if it was President Weah and I on the ballot, and that was not the case. I'm just a passionate guy. When I take a position and I believe in it, I aggressively and passionately pursue and project that position. That's all I did. And President Weah was a friend of mine. We were once friends, you know. I mean, we would sit down together and talk, and I've had the privilege a few times to sit at his dining table to eat. And as a friend, he was a good friend to me. But we had our disagreements. That was long before he became a senator and all. You know, but politically we had differences, but now he's president. So some people would want me to continue the rhetoric of the campaign. That is where they get it wrong. I told them the campaign is over.
So that campaign mood that I hear people say, let's get deactivated. You've already done yours.
I did mine ever since. When President Weah, when Mr. Weah was declared winner, I sent him a text message congratulating him. Even though he did not reply to him, but I know he got the text because he told someone who told me. And then I went on Facebook and did a video. And that video racked up 160,000 views. In fact, it was the most viewed video in the entire electoral period. The numbers don't lie. It's there. And I congratulated him. And I moved on. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give this guy my support. I want him to succeed. The people who believe in him are the same people I fight for every day. And because I want their lives to be transformed, I find it an obligation of mine to lend my support however I can. And Smith, people like you and myself, we're very important in the society. We are the ones who basically shape public opinion. We are the ones, people out there in their homes, in their communities, they listen to you and myself. And it is what we say that people carry. We have a huge responsibility. And people like you, you're doing a great job because Smith, you try very hard to be objective, to be in the middle. And I respect that. You know, a guy like me, I allow my passion to carry me sometimes. But the point is, I don't hate Mr. Weir. The people don't want to understand. Some people don't want to understand, except some of my supporters especially. They don't want to accept that.
But when people see from where you've started from the opposition side, so yes,
I remain in opposition.
You remain in opposition.
Precisely. I am not going to join the CDC. I remain a member of the ALP, and nothing has changed, and I will remain in the ALP. But President George Manuel Weah will continue to enjoy the support of Henry Costa as long as President Weah works in the interest of the people.
When you speak about support, like you repeated that term now with our numbers, what exactly is it that you intend to do?
Okay, simple. What do I intend to do? A couple of days ago, I came upon some documents. President Sirleaf, before leaving office, increased tariffs on everything, particularly food items. Let me give you an example. Milk. The tariff on milk was 1.5%, the old tariff. She increased it from 1.5% to 14%. The tariff on chicken feet was about 7%. She increased it to 20-something%. The tariff on imported meat was 2.5%. She increased it to 24%. She increased all the tariffs. These high tariffs, Smith, you know, simple economics, they lead to what? High prices on the market. Because the importers, the business people, simply shift the extra costs onto the end consumers. They affect the prices. Disposable incomes have not increased. Purchasing power is diminished when prices go up. People can barely afford. Therefore, it's affecting the economy. Everybody is crying in the country. I got this information. What did I do? Before even discussing it on the radio, do you know what I did?
What did you do?
I reached out to the office of the president. I spoke to two individuals. The press secretary to the president, Sam Mana, and the president's chief of staff, Honorable Nathaniel McGill. They were interested in the information. I provided the information to them. I took snapshots, sent it to them. They needed to first verify. They did the verification, and they found out that the information was valid. That President Sirleaf increased tariff just before she left. And these high tariffs are the ones responsible for the high prices. So that's me working with the government. And President Weah, I'm told, was very concerned about that. He didn't stop there. He reached out to the LRA to find out what was going on. And he is prepared in a day or two, or perhaps early next week at latest, the government is going to announce the review and the reduction of tariffs, particularly beginning with food items. That is what I call working with the administration.
The way in which the followers of you and people who believe in your advocacy see you move in terms of propagating the issue of the government and almost like we are running or ailing, I don't want to call it third time, but we are putting everything back on the former president. The hardship of the economy, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
Smith, is there any other reason? Come on, Ellen left the economy. Our central bank reserve is $150 million. She left $9.4 million in the government's consolidated fund. $9.4 million is not even a third of what the government needs to operate every month. That's why she left. The numbers are there. Central bank released the information. Who left the economy bad? Ellen, come on, let's be frank. President Weah now has a responsibility to fix the economy. He should not complain because he's president. You and I should complain. It is our right to complain. It is the Liberian people's right to complain. My support for the administration does not mean I will look at the facts, stare the facts in the face,
but can we now pressure them because that's what they got elected to fix?
Precisely. That is it. That is why when I got that information, Smith, I shared it with the office of the president. And because I believe the president means well, he decided to act. Because the president must act. I'm not going to sit there and defend the president. Look, my support for the government does not mean when the few people in government do wrong or when the government does wrong, I will defend. I will not be a praise singer. I will not be a praise and worship choir member. I am there to point out issues that need to be addressed and, when necessary, to propagate government's activities. Like, for example, the loan agreement. Some people are saying the $536 million loan is a bad deal. People are saying, look at the entity we're taking the money from. If any entity anywhere in this world can come up with $500 million to lend you for 22 years, to be paid over a period of 22 years, that entity has got to be a credible one. Do you even care where the money is coming from? As long as the terms and conditions of the loan do not undermine the laws of our land. 1.46%, that's cheaper than loans we've taken before under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. That loan, the terms are extremely generous.
But to the point here is that the cause we are hearing coming from the opposition, the community that you live in for so long, that you've said to us you're going to stay in that opposition community. You hear the Unity Party speak about the start of this government. The Liberty Party, they are raising the issue. Individual Liberians, they are raising issues about the government.
You know what, Smith?
You tell me.
That's their job. The job of the opposition or of politicians is to raise issues. Sometimes to cause a storm in the teacup, to create a mountain out of a molehill.
Are they raising some very substantial issue?
I'm not going to sit there and dismiss people. The job of a critic or an opposition is to criticize. My support for the government is not here to attack the critics of the government. No, my support for the government is to help propagate the good things that they do. If they do wrong, I will also speak to the wrong things. But some people
What have you seen wrong so far?
What have I seen wrong so far? I'm not happy with the budget.
You're not happy.
And I've said that, Smith. But people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that Henry Costa has said, I refuse to be an enemy to the government. I am not happy with the budget. I am unhappy because we've moved the wage bill up from 60% to 65%. Smith, I'm unhappy about that. I have said it over and over, but what some people want Costa to be is to be the voice of their anger, of their frustration, of their bitterness towards the government. I'm not going to be that. If I have a problem with an issue, I will raise that issue in a non-aggressive, non-belligerent, non-hostile approach because I want the government to listen to me.
Mr. Henry Costa,
yes, sir.
I'm sure you gained permanence in the profession because when you started radio, especially in the heat of politics, you became the voice of the voiceless. You remember that?
Yes, I am still the voice of the voiceless. Let me give you an example. A young man called Joseph Sell. He's an IT professional, works with the UN mission in Mogadishu, Somalia. He had a situation where his bank card, issued by EcoBank, somebody did an illegal transaction, unauthorized transaction in Paris. $2,500 plus stolen, used on his card. He contacted Henry Costa. I advocated for a few days. EcoBank put his money right back on his card. That's the voice of the voiceless. Let me give an example. I know other people who've come to me, and because they've come to our program, we've advocated for them, and we are continuing to do that. They are seeing changes. They are seeing things happening for them. That's what the voice of the voiceless means. But if you want me to be the voice of bitter and sour opposition who are vexed because George Weah is president, I did not support George Weah, but I'm not bitter. I don't have any bitterness in me. I will speak to the issues that matter. I will fight for the things that benefit the people, but I will not be the enemy of the government.
This is the guy that you spoke all of the ills about.
I did.
And you even recorded him privately and played it on the radio.
I did. Smith, I did all of those things. I did all of those things. But now it's a different period. I have decided, Smith TOBY, Henry Costa, will not be his enemy when he's president. Because I know what I suffered when I was enemy to the last government. Business people did not want to do business with my radio station. I had to struggle. I'm thinking about my interests. I'm a family man. I have a son. I have a mouth to feed. I'm trying to reopen my radio station. I want business people. This country, everything revolves around politics. Some of the people who are talking, they are very inconsiderate and very selfish, and which is why I'm not even validating or dignifying the things that they are saying. You know why? You look at a father who has to support his family, who has to run a business, and you are telling him to sacrifice his interests because of you, to be the voice of anger for you. No, I will use this voice that I have to benefit the people as well as to benefit myself. They don't want me to talk about my interests. My interest is I'm reopening my radio station. I'm trying to get I'm trying to set up an import business in this country. I need to work with the people in the country. I need to work with business people who would not run away from me because I am the enemy of the state.
And the best way to do this is to be frank to the government.
The best way to do this is to not be the enemy of the government.
Being enemy of the government, like you
like the way I was the last time.
You suffered the last time.
Yeah, this time
you went to jail
twice.
You got handcuffed.
My radio system was shut down. I suffered more than all of you guys, Smith. That is a fact.
Because the way you were talking.
But exactly. That's why I'm not prepared to do that anymore. When George Weah does wrong, I will tell him, Mr. President, with all due respect, you've done wrong.
You learn your lesson.
Mr. President, I am not happy about the budget. But Mr. President, this loan that you want to take to do the roads and all over this place is a good thing. Mr. President, this one is good. Mr. President, that one is bad. That is what I'm going to do, Smith. I'm going to be as objective and balanced, as fair as I can be. But I will not be the voice of angry, sour grape politicians.
Why do you think they want to news you?
Oh, because they think I have the loudest mouth in this town. So they want me to be the one to say, we are HVC as president, we are this. I told you people, I did this. I'm not going to do that. Because you know what? I do not have any bitterness in me. None whatsoever. We have beat us flat. 61.5%. I accept the results. He's president. I will criticize him. But when I do so, it will be fair, it will be non-hostile, it will be non-belligerent. It will be in the interest of the majority of the people, the grassroots, the common people's interests, bread and butter issues like high tariffs, demanding that the president does something about the tariffs at the port. That's the kind of advocacy that Henry Costa is going to commit his time to, and I am not going to be the voice of angry, bitter politicians.
Mr. Henry Costa, get on talking about the way you intend to proceed. I'm sure that people will follow you now if he betrayed.
You know what, Smith? If people feel that I should risk my life as I did before, I should be perceived. And Smith, let me tell you something. Circumstances change. Abraham Lincoln said, men are the creatures of their circumstances. I am a family man. I have to think more. You see, First Smith, when I did all that stuff, got arrested, went to jail, shot my... I wasn't married. I didn't have a kid. It's different. Smith, come on, man. Children change everything for people. I'm thinking now about my family. I'm thinking about myself. I was selfless. I have to be a little selfish. So here's what I'm going to do. The people's interest is there. My interest has to be there too. If the interests of the people go in conflict with my interests, seek to jeopardize mine, the people's interests will have to wait. But preaching for things like lowering tariffs on food items, that's the people's interest. Fighting for APM terminals to be reined in and to be for the deal to be streamlined, that's the interest of the people. Fighting for poor people who are seeking justice at the Supreme Court and be denied justice for 17 years, that's the people's interest. So I can do both. I can synchronize them. Do the people's interests, fight for their interests, and then try to reopen my radio station, my business, and do other businesses in the country. My mind didn't born me to be a talk show host all my life. I have to do other things. If my talk show host life or my work as an advocate affects my life, then I have to sit back and reevaluate, because I'm not a stupid man, right? If you do something that is affecting your own interests, you have to think again. We live in a highly politicized environment. Everything you say on this radio, there are people who like it or who get offended by it. That's why some of you try as hard as you can to be right there in the middle. Some of us who go all the way, we get into a lot of trouble. And I don't want to do that anymore. I will stay in the middle. If George Weah does something good, I will say it. If he does something bad, I will say it. But I will not say it in a way as an enemy. I will say it in a way as a friend.
Let's get moving. So I want to see how long is stay early. 4 months, few days into this administration, with a lot more ahead of us for 6 years. Are you going to contain yourself in this form right now, keeping that friendship, keeping,
It is not friendship.
keeping that understanding of the family, the business, and the advocacy. And
the president and I are not friends, or at least I don't think he considers me a friend anymore.
Why?
But the president does not have to be my friend, but he is my president. The president and I do not have to be friends, but he's my president. He's obligated to me as he's obligated to everyone. I heard one caller saying the government doesn't have to listen to the EFFL. The economic freedom fighters of Liberia are young men, most of whom are friends of mine. They have an argument. They must be heard. The president is under obligation to listen to all Liberians, whether they like him or not. He doesn't have the luxury anymore of being only the leader of one party or one group of people. So nobody should dismiss anybody. Everybody has a point. Mr. Darius Dillon has a point. Mr. Rufus Nova has a point. They must all be heard. This is a democracy. It is a democracy, because you know what? I cannot be talking about people shouldn't be heard when I made the loudest noise in this town. Everybody must be heard. Nobody should dismiss anybody. If the people demand to know what's going on about the loan agreement, it is the responsibility of the government to explain it to the people. I took upon my time to explain it to the people, and it is not my job. But I did so because I wanted the people to know what's inside. If anything there I saw was bad, I would have said it. But I did not see anything. Ask them to tell you what's bad about the loan agreement. We are being given, or we are promised to be given, $536 million to be paid in 2 tranches. The first one is about $265 million. The second one is about $265 million. After the deal is ratified and the sovereign guarantee is issued by the central bank, $265 million to be sent here in 50 days. $265 million. We don't get to begin repayment until after 7 years. We would have a period of 7 years within which our economy hopefully would begin to do well and recuperate from this debilitating state it currently finds itself in. We would be capacitated enough within 7 years to begin paying on this loan. A grace period of 7 years on the principal and the interest. To me, you could not find a loan whose terms and conditions were more generous.
So the way you see the economy and Mr. Costa,
it's terribly bad.
It's terribly bad.
Very, very bad.
And you think we are in the shape of its badness because of?
I think it might get worse if the government does not do some things to fix the economy. No joke about that. No politics.
And what could be those things?
A stimulus package, which I have proposed. I have proposed. We need a major strategic infusion of cash to enhance liquidity. Do you know what's causing exchange rate? It's because we are not exporting as much iron ore and gold and rubber as we used to. We're not fetching as much foreign currency as we used to. We need to put money in the banks to lend to Liberian investors to do stuff like agriculture, real estate development, make access to financing much more attractive, and give cheaper loans, flexible loans to be able to stimulate growth in the economy. The government, through its budget, is not going to be able to work that magic. We need a stimulus package. The loan might help, but a specific loan for things like reopening the agricultural bank and lending to mechanized commercial scale agricultural production, lending to providing money to the National Housing Authority to build low-cost housing units and create thousands of jobs for masons, bricklayers and carpenters and welders and plumbers and those people. That will put a lot of people to work. It will put lots of money into people's pockets. It will increase liquidity in the economy. It would also increase purchasing power, and there will be circular flow in the economy. Enhanced circular flow.
Do you see the potential of this government in driving in that direction?
I have to see a coherent, cohesive economic plan. I have not seen that yet.
Okay.
You see when people say, I'm a praise and worship singer, yeah, I need to see that. I see here raw will, good intentions. I see the president has good intentions.
Raw talent.
Yeah, but I need to see a coherent economic strategy. You know, when President Franklin Delano Roosevelt came to power in 1932 in America during the Great Depression, he came up with a policy called the New Deal, spending money to create a stimulus. I need to see a stimulus. We need to have a stimulus package. In 2009, when Obama came to power, he had a stimulus. You know, 2008, before he came to power, President Bush gave out $90 billion to Americans as rebates to buy stuff to help jumpstart the economy. I need to see a stimulus. I haven't seen that yet. Perhaps the government is working on one, but I have not seen one yet.
How do we understand the workings of this government that profess to be a pro-poor government without anything documented to talk about?
Well, I have not seen a pro-poor agenda. Again, I will not tell you what I have seen, or I will not tell you when I haven't seen something. I will not say I've seen it. I have not seen a pro-poor agenda, but the pro-poor is more like a team. I don't think it is a piece of document, or perhaps they're working on one. It's a team. Pro-poor, of course, you know what that means. It means that the overarching objective of the government is to seek to uplift the people and to wrestle them free from the shackles of poverty. That's how I understand it. But I need to see practical, pragmatic government actions, deliberate, willful, affirmative actions tailored around that team, enhanced and consistently pursued, prosecuted in order to break the people from the shackles of grinding poverty. Yes.
So reading between the lines, have they started well in terms of what you've seen so far? Even though
they've done some good things and they've made some mistakes.
Okay, so
again, I'm going to be in the middle.
Okay, so let's talk about the good things, then we will see the mistakes.
Let's talk about the good things.
Yeah.
We see a president who one of the first things he did that really impressed me was to say, you know what? We're going to review all the concessions. I'm passionate about the concessions. Many of these concessions are very bad. One of the things the president did, he set up a committee to review them. I'm waiting for that committee to report back to him and see what he's going to do. Number two, he withdrew 5 bills from the legislature. And the letter he wrote seeking the withdrawal of those bills, recalling those bills, is something that really touched me. He said those bills were crafted not in the interest of the people and they were done in outright violation of our laws. That is a good thing. He talked about cutting salaries for people. But what disappoints me on the other side is that the wage bill was increased while salaries were cut. So it's like taking 1 step in front and 2 steps behind.
Okay.
You understand? Like I said, I'm going to be very fair.
Proceeding here with Mr. Heron Costa, the viewers here on the social media and everyone that's listening to us via radio, Mr. Heron Costa is my guest right here. I was just talking out of the national issue, his new trend, and of course the way he's been proceeding. He's given us some of the reason why he's been talking the way of late in terms of his own activities. But let me find out from you, Costa. Looking at the government and looking at the way they intend to move the country, the news about the NOCAS Global Witness,
the report is out.
Yeah, is out. We are yet to see what is in that report in terms of the recommendations from the committee, but we are all concerned.
We are. I'm equally concerned as you are. And the president said at the cabinet retreat, and I wait to see the president acting on his words, matching his words with action. The president said that he will ensure that the recommendations made by the committee he set up, the panel, will be enforced. And we wait to see. We'll hold him to his word. We'll hold his feet to the fire to do the right thing. And I believe he wants to do the right thing, but his feet must be held to the fire.
Is it a wise recommendation from Global Witness, Jonathan Gang, that the president publish what is coming out of the committee and of course and see what the recommendations are?
Well, again, Global Witness has been a partner of this country. They've always been, and I hopefully they always will be. They're asking the president to do something. It is a request. It is up to the president. It's the prerogative of the president to decide whether or not to honor the request, to publish or not the report. But what is more important, Smith, is not the publication of the report. It is the implementation of the recommendation.
Why do you think the implementation will be that important? Is it because of the individuals' names that are allegedly involved in this entire
Smith, let me explain this. There are lots of things that have to be addressed here.
Okay.
This president has to instill confidence. He has to give the Liberian people confidence that he is different from the previous president. He has to stand on his own 2 feet. He has to strike out on his own. The onus is on him to do so. Confidence is so important. Abraham Lincoln said, public policy can only work if public sentiment is rallied around it, is in favor of it. So the president has to do that. the confidence level of the public is always low when it comes to the government. You know that, Smith. There's a great deal of skepticism and pessimism and cynicism. The president needs to do something to give the people reason to begin to believe that he wants to do great and he wants to do it differently. Which is why when he says he would do something, he really must do it.
Because in terms of fighting corruption, that President Salih struggled with a lot.
She didn't struggle. She just didn't want to do it.
She didn't just want to do it?
She just didn't want to do it. But presidents are not advocates. They have power. Which is why we should not make excuses for presidents. President Weah does not need you and I. He does not need us to advocate for him. He does not need Henry Costa to make excuses for him where he can actually act. When it comes to the bad state of the economy, the lack of jobs, that's something I can say, hey, he just came to power. He just spent 4 months. You don't expect him to create thousands of jobs, of course. But when it comes to acting like putting people, prosecuting people, that is not something the president needs billions for. That's something the court system is established. The Ministry of Justice is there. They have been paid to prosecute people. They must prosecute people, and there must be no excuses. But when it comes to fixing the economy overnight, the president is not a magician. But we must see a coherent, cohesive, practical economic plan that makes sense in terms of fixing the economy. But he's not a magician.
So how you think the president is going to tackle the issue of corruption that has become?
It is yet to be seen. It is too soon when it comes to that because hey, so far we haven't had.
I hear you saying too soon. How much time you think?
Because we haven't had a minister still that we know about. So you and I get information all the time. So you know we are well plugged in, right? Our ears are to the ground, our eyes are out there. If we hear something, if you will know, I will know. But we haven't heard anything about any government minister being involved in any impropriety so far. It doesn't mean it hasn't happened. It just means that we haven't caught anyone. But when it comes out to the public and the president doesn't act, that's when we can say the president doesn't have political will to fight corruption. But until it happens, we cannot begin to prosecute the man or blame the man for something that he has not had the opportunity to prove himself on. Let's be fair here.
Are you in line, or as you hear Liberians say, this government came on a backdrop of criticizing. They criticize. Of course. They criticize a whole lot.
Citizens were the biggest critics around here.
So there's nothing wrong to criticize them from day one.
They must be criticized too. I agree.
But guess what? They're not taking criticism, on a silver platter.
Many of them are intolerant. Do not mind them, Smith. Keep criticizing them. They will get used to it. At the cabinet retreat, the president said, we used to criticize everything. Today we're in power, we should expect to be criticized. They must be criticized. Criticism is good. It's good. It's healthy. People must be told when they do wrong. Even if it is not wrong, they must be suggested to do things differently. There's nothing wrong with it. People must criticize them.
So, would there be a day ahead of this administration that you think Liberians will say, yes, we voted the right president, even though the expectation as it started, I'm not sure it's still the same after election day and the celebration of a new president? From the faces of people you see on the street, the hardship you hear and talked about, are people becoming frustrated? You think so?
Look, Smith, my man, you know better than me when it comes to the realities on the ground. I was out of here for 5 months. I returned exactly five months later. The country is harder. You know why, Smith? Because prices went up. Smith, a box of matches. How much we used to buy the matches? $5. Now it's $10. Everything's gone up because tariffs were increased. We import over 90% of what we consume. We don't produce those things here. We import them. And we import them through the free port of Monrovia. That's what's killing us, which is why I spent months and I'm still advocating for President Weah to take real action to fix the problems at the port with the LRA and all. That is the problem. Lower the tariffs, it would incentivize business people to import more, prices will be lower, people will purchase more, our people don't have a lot of money to buy stuff. That's the problem, Smith. That's why times are so high. When I say it was the last government that increased the tariffs, some people don't want to hear that because they hate George Weah. They wanted the local. It's Weah that did it. But it is Weah that has to fix it. But it is not Weah that increased it. I'm not making any excuses for him. It's a statement of fact. George Manuel Weah, as president, did not increase tariffs in December. He was not president. It was Ellen who did it. But George Weah, as president now, must lower those tariffs so that prices can be lowered, so that the people can be able to afford it, so the hardship in the country cannot be further compounded by increased prices on the market.
So Liberians talk a lot. They even called on your platform and talk about the president and his team assets declaration.
The president must declare his assets. Again, Smith, as I said, I'm not going to sit here and say, no, the president should not. The president must declare the assets in line, in conformity with law. I'm told the time has not lapsed. The deadline has not passed. The president still does have time.
But should he be waiting for deadline?
I'm not saying he should wait. I'm saying plain and simple.
Take the lead.
The president must take the lead and declare assets. I'm not saying he should not. I'm not saying he should wait. I'm just saying he still has time within which to do it. But the sooner, the better.
Getting on finally before we get onto the lines, and my guest is Mr. Heron Costa. Are you in the note of what Liberians talked about with the senatorial by-election, the point we are, specifically on where people are saying we are in a constitutional breach? Now the government have provided some money, but the set date and time for the election, we've already passed that time. The government been pushing here and there, no morning syndrome. Was that the right way to go? Did you see that as a violation on the part of the government to put money in the recast budget for the conduct of the senatorial by-election? Spaces created by the two heads, first and second in the country.
I think the law is a law. If the law says that election must be held within a certain period of time, the constitution at that, it must be held within a certain period of time. I think the Minister of Finance should have prioritized that. He should have made sure the money was made available, even though I have a problem with the amount of money the NEC wants to have two by-elections. I have a problem with that. They already spent $100,000 of that money, according to them, just to do candidate nomination. That is ridiculous. But the Minister of Finance should have provided a reasonable amount of money to hold the by-elections. They've now provided the rest. They provided a total of $1.5 million, but it came too late and it's already past the date as stipulated in the Constitution. So I'm not going to sit there and make excuses for the government for delaying to provide the funds.
Costa, a bottle of water is available for you.
Thank you very much.
Let me give the listeners some interaction time now. I see calls coming in all over here. And so Mr. Heron Costa is on this platform, not the usual Costa platform, but we are privileged to have him sit with us and discuss some of the trending national issue. So you can call us on 0777700995, 0880939395. Let us go to the line. We'll talk to Mr. Mo Ali, who's been trying to get to us. So let me see, he's coming in right now. Mr. Ali, thanks for following the conversation. Please step away from your monitor.
Oh, okay. Is it okay?
Yeah, better. Please go ahead.
All right. Is it good evening? Good afternoon to Costa. We haven't seen since you returned. On the issue of this asset declaration, there are few points that I'd like to make very clear. Section 10.1 of the Code of Conduct, there's nowhere in there that says people are given a specific the period of time to declare their assets. In one of the sentences here, it says assets should be declared, assets and liabilities should be declared prior to taking office, and thereafter, at the end of every 3 years, on promotion or progression from one level to another, upon transfer to another public office, and upon retirement or resignation. Besides that, there is nowhere in the Code of Conduct that says people should declare assets at the LACC. It's clearly stated that members of the executive declare their assets to the GSE, members of the judicial branch declare their assets to the clerk of the Supreme Court, members of the Senate declare their assets to the Secretary of the Senate, and members of the House of Representatives declare their assets to the Chief Clerk of the House of Representatives.
Okay.
When they declare their assets, they take that receipt to the LACC so that it can be recorded. So this issue about the LACC has a timeline of 3 months or this and that, I still don't see it. And even with that 3-month timeline, it has expired. So there's no excuse for declaration of assets there.
Thank you.
Clear violations of the law.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mo Ali. Just hold on a little bit, Costa. I'll allow you to take note and you respond along the way. Let me take a few more calls. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, people of TOBY.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, my name is Abayemi Tapla Santi Jr. and I joined the conversation this afternoon from my resident in Toho community.
Please go ahead, Tapla.
Yeah, let me say good afternoon to Henry Costa. You know, people, Costa has won my admiration this afternoon.
Oh.
In politics, for some of us, we are not politicians, but what we understand is that there is no permanent friend and there is no permanent enemy in politics. So today, if Mr. Henry Costa is saying that he is not here to fight or criticize the government, but to engage the national government constructively in what they are falling ill, I think it's something welcoming. You can't continue to criticize and not making recommendations.
All right, thank you. Let me slip in Mr. David Coty. I love to call him Chairman. Mr. Chairman, how are you?
I'm fine. You need to tell Costa that I'm the chairman of the board.
Okay, chairman of the board. Please go ahead.
My good friend and brother, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, big brother.
We haven't talked for a long time. I want to say hats off to you this afternoon. Thank you. You are a true politician, a true Liberian, a patriotic citizen. Let them call you grave seeker, political chameleon, calculator, that their business. The point is the elections are over. I too campaign for other people. The time is over. We now have a president. God has spoken. Who are we to go against God? So, I like the way you spoke this evening. When it comes to the loan issue, for example, let our loan come from the devil who will take it. This country has borrowed billions. What can we show? Nothing. Billions of dollars. We look at the cover of this country. Everything is a mess. This government wants to take $500+ million to see how we can get good rules. And I hear people talking all the time. Let it come from the devil. Satan serves the money who will take it. We need some development here.
Okay.
Please keep up your good work, my brother. This is no time to. We're not saying that we can. I'm just like you. We're not saying that we won't criticize the government when they go wrong, for example. I'm supporting this government 150%. But when they go wrong, we say it. And one of the wrong things that I see them doing, you can't be talking about pro-poor government. And you know we can identify money. Then you got two of your partisans running to create another by-election to create hardship. This is wrong on the part of the government. But on the overall, it is too soon to criticize the government. Too soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
More than a man to strengthen this rotten country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. David Coty, for joining us on the conversation. Slip in another call. Hello.
Hello, Mr. TOBY.
Yes, how are you, sir?
Thank you. I'm Michael Flomo from New Georgia.
Please go ahead, Mr. Flomo. Please go ahead, Mr. Flomo.
Yeah, thank you. I listened to Mr. Costa. He spoke well. Listen, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see what's happening here. We know there are some good things and there are some other things that are slipping down the line. Like what Mr. Costa mentioned about that by-election issue. I have problem with that. But I think on the mark, the president or the government is doing, they're trying. If they're checking, like they found they got in power in like just less than 4 months. And so you're not coming to criticize like you are saying to criticize.
All right. 0777 700995 08809399395. Let me take the next one. Hello.
Good evening. Let me say very good evening to you and Aaron Pedro Costa. My name is Father from Tokorinti Ablady, and I call from Lynch. The father of the matter, Costa has said it all. The president is on the red track. The president is in time. He will declare after at the rightful time. If anybody who see intimidated that the president has not declared after, let them join at come up for more hunger strike. We will embrace it. We will agree with them. They are in the compound of the law. They should go on hunger strike. The part of the matter, this government is performing the ratings are on the wall. It can see it means that you are visual impaired. I want you to join us so that Liberia can move forward. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much. We'll take 6 more of your calls now, then we will close up with Mr. Henry Costa. Flip side 5 o'clock, Mr. Otelo Taba from the Legislative Budget Office is expected to be my guest. So let's take the last 6 calls now. Hello.
Hello, Smith.
Yes, how are you?
Okay, I'm fine. I'm Eddie. I call from Broad Street.
Please go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, let me say Hassan of Costa, is on the right path. The thing is that, look, this guy is a young guy. This man has family. They may not get deep for advocacy in the country. Two or not be advocating when the message vote for certain people when they say no. But ain't no, they'll be talking for Liberian people because of what? Because I thank you that you did well.
All right. 5 more to take. 0777 7009950 at 880939395. Back to the line. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Bill Water, and let me say, ask up to Heaven Costa. Thank you so much, Costa, for making our day. I think the true essence of democracy is to have disagreements at times, but President Joshua is nowhere in error with this conflict. We Liberia, with the issue of the coastal rule, the issue of what he put in place for Liberia, I think we have to give it support. Costa, I can say to you that 2017, your political quest were not met, but 2023 to come, we'll see how you can make some representation at the level of the legislature. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. That was so much as well. We are still right here, making way for your introduction on the show. So let me go back to the line. Next caller, how are you?
Good afternoon, Good afternoon, Costa. This is Afonso Koto, phone from Chiezo community.
Please go ahead, Afonso.
Let me say what's up to Costa. When I hear the voice of Costa, send me reading my mind. The man said he don't want to be a perpetual opposition. If the government is doing wrong, you will blind out and see what you're going to say.
Smith, is that what I said?
Hello,
Smith.
So
call him to order.
Hello. No, let me ask you. Let me ask you.
Call him to order.
Hello. So, at what point of this conversation did you hear him say that?
Yes, I'm monitoring Costa for a full show that he don't want to be
his show.
But talk about this show. When did I say that?
Hello.
Did he say it here or on his show?
Smith,
Yeah.
Smith has found a show relationship from the beginning of the show and monitor Costa even for his own show. He said that he has been in opposition, his voice has been the biggest opposition in terms of advocacy, and saying he don't want to be there. He was not born to be an advocate. Therefore, it's clear on your show. You want to repeat it, we can repeat it. But let me go to my issue.
Go to your issue.
That goes to my issue. The issue is this country that we expect ambassador, we have to be one of the sons of people to bring a lot of development to the country has fallen short. For example, the president is boarding a private jet today, while today from our community, so are really eating today. Some people say, I'm not getting even a private to eat today. The president is boarding a private jet. Let me come to the issue of answer declaration. He has refused to declare an answer because he said that there is no position the country are not reaching. Let's go to the minister. Taking room for the best tour. You say proper.
All right. Thank you. That was so much. You got to make way for others to get on this line to speak their mind as well. So let's go back to this one. Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yes. How are you? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Mr. Toby. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing good.
Yeah, I just want to ask Mr. Costa one or two questions.
One question.
Mr. Costa, have you reconciled with a good Eugene Falcon? There is John Mamo anyway.
He and Eugene Falcon have a problem?
Oh, man, the poor have a problem for Malala.
Me and Eugene Falcon were just dancing together the other day somewhere. But it doesn't mean when he does something I can't disagree with him.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. 2 more of your calls now, then we will return to Mr. Heron Costa. A real good time here today. How are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Toby. Let me say good afternoon to Heron Costa. My name is Stephen Goto, and I call you from the panel of 2013 this afternoon.
I may have moved away about thing again. You don't bring nothing by here?
For the past 2 months, with our representation, you are aware of it. The men living to be
I'm not aware of anything. I'm not following where your lawmaker living. Please go ahead. Go to the point. Forget about that one.
Right now.
Forget about it.
You're going to the point. Let me commend Costa for a section. But one thing I want to understand that this government, the way the government started her administration, the lawlessness, I don't think it's on a right trajectory. We need to uphold to the rule of law. President George, when we need to set the example, the word change should be practical, not just cosmetic.
All right, practical and not cosmetic. One more, 0777700995, 0880939395. Let me close up with this one. How are you?
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I'm relatively okay. My name is Prince P, and I phoned in from like 2 days from 6.
Go ahead.
Let me commend Henry Costa for making some adjustments as relates to his stance on national issues. You don't understand and experience that after election, the biggest political party we have is Liberia. Once you have that at the back of your mind, you will criticize when the need arises, and you will also advance recommendations to correlate with your criticism. And that's the way it works in other countries. Our democracy is going through a stage of metamorphosis. Again, let me commend Aaron Costa. It's often said that whilst when changes, we may have food never change. I'm a living witness to what he said when I was a single guy around there. My approach to issue was different from when I assumed that parental responsibility. You no longer think about yourself. When you're making decisions, you're thinking about your kids. Because once you have a decision, you make the consequences. You got to calculate what are negative or positive, as to whether it will affect your children. So I comment on Costa.
All right. Thank you for your commendation. Costa, let me return to you based on what you've noted, and that will allow you to speak to them quickly.
Smith, thank you very much. First of all, this is what I said. For those who are trying to misconstrue me, I remain a critic. I remain an advocate. I remain a talk show host. But rather than being aggressive and not balanced, I will be balanced, objective, and fair. When the government does something good, I will say it's good. When the government does something bad, I will say it's bad. I will be fair and objective. And here is another thing. I do not wish any longer to be considered an enemy of the government. I will be a critic of the government. I will support where they need support, and I will recommend where they need to be pointed to. But I will not be an enemy. I want to pursue business ventures in the country. I have experience from how business people treat you, Smith, when you are perceived as an enemy of the government. Business people don't touch you. They don't want to do business with you. You all who are criticizing me, you are leading your normal lives. You don't care about my life. They don't care about me, Smith. These people who listen to your show, most of them don't care about you, whether you eat at your house, what happens to you, whether your home gets burned. They don't really care. They just want to make sure Smith Toby is on the radio every day. They don't care whether your kids go to school. They don't care. I'm saying I'm pursuing business ventures in this country. I will be critical, but I will not be critical in a way that jeopardizes my own interest. If that's not reasonable to you, then that is your business. I owe no one any apology. I was not born to be the voice of the people for the rest of my life. What I decide to do, the people do not pay me for what I do. When I advocate for people, for them to get justice, for things to happen for them, when I raise funds for poor people in this country, nobody pays me to do that. And I will continue to use this voice of mine that God gave me to help the people. But as long as it does not jeopardize my own interest, what is so difficult for people to understand that?
Your interest.
I will not fight for Smith to my death. Who can say like, bro? Don't let sympathy exceed your interest. No sympathy will exceed my interest anymore. I want government job. I'm going right back to America next month. Next month, I'm going back. I'm done. I came here to set up my businesses, and I'm going back. I'm not living here for the next couple of years. I will not live here. I want to come here and go back. I don't need a job from the government. I just need to do my business. But I don't want business people to say, man, sorry, we can't do business with you because the government ain't like your business. I will not do that. I will make money from my businesses as anyone. I don't need a cent from the government. You will never see my name on government payroll. I just want to be like a normal person in this country, but still be the voice of the voiceless. I can balance it too.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Heron Costa. A show with more interaction ahead of us has been a real good time today. Let's hope we will talk sometime soon, maybe before you depart, sure. Or just on another subject matter, but it's been a good time. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, my dear brother.
Okay.
It has been my pleasure and honor.
Thanks to all of you for keeping us on your radio. As usual, yes, tough talking and talking out of the issue. Let's take a break. We're back with you.
Sorry, I do sorry, me no be ne juma ya. I do sorry, be ne juma ya. I do sorry, be ne juma. I do sorry, be ne juma ya. I do sorry, be ne juma ya. I do be ne juma ya. I try, Soja lafia de. I do mauna su. Soja lafia de. Lafia de.
Yes, after talking, yeah, we had to run out and return right on the shore. Just making the time check now, 14 minutes running away from 5 o'clock in the city. This is the conversation, people. All we do here, we talk, we entertain, discussing the issues, discussing Liberia. As always, we do it together right on this platform. Stay with me if you are there. We are expecting Mr. Otello Taba. I hope he's going to be here. Well, let's dance a little bit. Put aside your worries right now. That music, keep Liberia moving. I love this music, somebody says, yeah. Wimon Brown. Jesus Jet is watching, he's following this broadcast. Want to get on talking some budget related issue? Can you please play Pressure? Why should I play Pressure? Old school man. I'm an old school guy, yeah? Waiting for the arrival of my next studio guest. But time and time between time, yeah. Even if it's just all about music you enjoyed. So you better sit back and relax. The conversation continue on OK FM 99.5.
Yes,
16 minutes running away from the time. What's going on today in the city? What's happening around your area? What's going on in your community? Today is Thursday, so this be my final presentation for the week. Tomorrow, Zenon Kubui Miller will be here. Ajwa. Enjoy music, man. It's not just talking every time. We can ball sometime on the show. There's a beautiful song right here, and we are together on the conversation. OK FM 99.5. I will go back to music in the next few minutes. We are still trying to get connected to our studio guest for this segment of the program. He's yet to arrive in the studio, so we trying to see if he's available or not. But let's get on with some information coming into our studio right now. Today, we're telling you about the situation at the Governance Commission, right? And the communication dated on the what was it? On the 3rd, was that the 3rd? On the 5th of April, from the office of the National Chairman Coalition for Democratic Change, and of course, Mr. Prince Bloje went yesterday at the Governance Commission. I'm sure this information as of yesterday haven't gone down well with the Coalition for Democratic Change, and so they've taken action. I just received a letter while I'm on the air here. For those of you viewing us on the Facebook, this letter is coming from the National Chairman of the Coalition for Democratic Change, and it is a statement. Let me put it that way, a press statement. And I will read for you what the press statement from the office of Mr. Moba Modu, National Chairman. The leadership of the Coalition for Democratic Change, the CDC, has with immediate effect suspended the membership of Mr. Prince Bloje. So the same man who went yesterday to go take over based on a letter of recommendation from Chairman Moba Molu is now being suspended. They have suspended his membership from the party for act contrary to the bylaws and constitution of the CDC, especially his recent misrepresentation of the guideline principle of the party. So the action yesterday has been now clarified as an action of misrepresentation of the guideline and principle of the Coalition for Democratic Change. So Chairman Moba Molu, who wrote the recommendation to the chair of the Governance Commission, E. Otelo Gonga, on the 5th, I'm sure based on his recommendation, Mr. Prince Bloje decided to go to the Governance Commission yesterday to take office as per the recommendation of Chairman Moba Molu, just a date of this situation, Mr. Prince Blodgett membership of the party has been suspended with immediate effect. The leadership clarifies that Blodgett action are unauthorized and are not amendable to discipline or orders. Lacking moral justification, his suspension hence remains in force pending the outcome of an authorized grievance and ethics procedure consistent with the essential provision of due process. So they suspended his membership. He's going to go to the grievance and ethics committee of the Coalition for Democratic Change. The party herewith caution all partisans to remain peaceful, patient, and law-abiding at all times as we continue to seek the interests of members. Continuously making strides to create opportunities for all seditions. Therefore, Mr. Blodgett has been relieved of an administrative or technical function he may have held prior to his suspension. Mobake Molu Jr. is the national chair of the coalition. So on yesterday, one action, today another action of suspension of Prince Blodgett, the man who went to take over yesterday at the Governance Commission. Folks, we'll be talking about this and other issue shortly, but it's like my guests will not be in. So let me see if I can get on to find one more music just to rock you a little bit, and then I will come back now. So we can talk on some of the news, especially the one I just brought up for you about that. So I'm very sure the conversation is going very, very well with you on this day. In the absence of a guest, when you plan, right? So I'm looking for something. I'm looking for just some kind of music for you to dance to. I'm an old time guy, so I'm looking through my old time songs here. There's some beautiful classic. What is the old one? That's something that you will dance and enjoy while we await the arrival, or get on to talking something a little bit more. Okay, so be there right on the show. This is the conversation here on OK FM 99.5. Let me see if I got something coming. Is this one ready to go for me?
Sister Beth, come. You dey resemble my sister proper. Oh, me I just say you be my sister. Oh, what your name? Juliana. Oh, only your voice.
You want to see me in my element? Hold on to the lines a little bit. Where were you then when this music was somewhere? Okay, so let me interrupt this music here. I got a call coming in from Chairman Mobile Moto. It's difficult for you to answer people, but I will answer you because I want to talk to you live here. Sorry, folks. I'm gonna get back to your music. Let me take a word or two from the chair of the party. He's trying to get to me. If I can get you back, I would definitely want to talk to Chairman Modu on this decision. He's the man in the news, his action, his recommendation, and then now he's suspending Mr. Prince Bloje. So let me see if we can get Chairman Modu live on the line with us to talk. That's what everything break right here on the show. So when the newsmakers are ready to talk, we will give them the time to talk. I'm trying to return the call because I just missed that call a few minutes ago. So if he's following the broadcast, I'm sure he's going to follow and return that call to me. Chairman Modu, I'm waiting that call that just missed because I'm trying to get back to you equally. But let me get dancing this one. This one is called Juliana.
One day they go for cinema. I saw some girl, it resemble my sister. One day they go for cinema. I saw some girl, it resemble my sister. Then I called the girl. Oh, the walk is way you take off. Now he make a house and live. The walk is way you take off. Now he make a house and live. She take a song voice and said, I'm Juliana.
That's what she said. She was Juliana. I thought she was my sister. And she raised her voice and said, I'm Juliana. Oh, Julie. Only your voice. Only your hips. Only your legs. Only your shape. Someone who talk the politics would do it. When it comes to music, don't put foot. Leave it.
One day they go for cinema. I saw some girl, they resemble my sister. One day they go for cinema. I saw some girl, they resemble my sister. Then I called the girl. The walk is where you take her. Now you make her say name. She took some voice and said, I'm Juliana. She took some voice.
You know, sometimes
I'm Juliana.
we can go on and on.
Juliana.
I'm Juliana. Oh, Judy.
Only your voice.
Only your voice, oh.
Your voice. Only your shape.
Only your shape, yeah?
Your shape. Only your legs, oh.
Only that beautiful legs of yours.
Oh, Juliana.
Oh, Juliana.
Oh, Juliana.
A beautiful rhythm here. I got something very interesting we'll be talking about shortly. Josephus, Eric, Tobagi, Yagbazua, Kennedy, how you doing? My brother from another mother. If you check around here right now, we can talk something social. Maybe put aside all of the hard rhetorics. After this music, I got something coming up we'll be talking about. We will talk about it, you enjoy it. The time check is 5:30. 30 more minutes, yeah? Happy birthday, happy pre-birthday, happy belated birthday. Congratulations if you're in the traffic, driving across the city. I'm sure the guest for this segment is not available, but I got something available for you. Okay, so let me see right now if this is the call, but I don't know why I don't know why is it happening like this, but I'll keep trying.
He said, what do you want? I want Kalati. I want pampers. I want machine. I want car. I want house. She make a
you want car, you want big Jeep, you want motorboy, you want keke, you want Subaru. Tell me, Juliana, what you want? You say you want house. Okay, you say that's also retreats. I want to see if I can get Chairman Mobile Model live of me on this radio right now. Let me see if this is possible. No. Hey, Juliana, only your voice, oh. Beautiful music right here, the classic of yesterday still sound very, very, very good. And you know, at this point, the broadcast now leave with the presenter to bring something because I got 30 more minutes to be sitting in here. And I'm not sure I want to do music for you for 30 minutes. I know you enjoy music. If I decide to play you music for 30 minutes right now, you enjoy it as well. But I keep mixing. We turning the call off and on. Chairman Moro is calling me 1 minute and I'm calling his back. He's not picking up. But there's this decision from the party against the gentleman, Mr. Prince Bloje now. He's been suspended with immediate effect. And so that's it. Folks, let's find something easy to talk about while we move out of this studio today. Let the politicians sleep over the rest of the politics. Let me see how we get on talking about something different a little bit here, and I'm very, very certain that we can all talk about some of the issue in our country. So people look out for friendship, and women or girls out there look out for their friends, and the male will equally do the same. But if you look at the ratio to women and women friendship, or girl to girl friendship, and boy to boy or men to men friendship, in my thinking, I feel that ladies prefer more male friends than females. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think male friends, ladies prefer male friends than female. If at all you ask women and females, and they will tell you that they prefer female friends than the male. I mean, they prefer male friends than female. I don't know the reason for that. So I'm going to ask just one simple question: why do ladies prefer male friends to female? It's going to get interesting to tell me the reason why ladies prefer male friends to females. Some women say their friend then can gossip, so when they sit with their friends and the other friends talk, the friends don't keep the secret. Some think that the being friends with the guys provide them protection. So if you are out there as a male, you can equally tell me why women or ladies out there prefer male friends than female. If you are female, you need to tell me as well why you prefer a male friend than a female friend. It's not that you are not having a female friend, but if you check the friends, most of them or majority of your friends will be the opposite sex. Let's talk about this one. Leave all of your politics out of it. And let's get talking on 0777-700-995. And that will close our conversation plate for today. Saturday coming up is the health walk. You know of that already. And so it's going to be about Orchid FM out there. So if you are a female, I can also give you a line that you can call if you are a female and you are interested in this conversation. You can call me on 0886 557 858. Only for the female, I will take on that number 0886 557 858. The rest of the numbers, the males out there can attempt to make use of that number. But females, if you're out there, you're interested in telling us why ladies prefer male friends than female, then you can call the 0886 557 858 number and just tell me the reason why it is the way it is. This call, let me see if I can go to this line here to take my very first caller. How are you? Yes, how are you? How are you? How are you? Good evening. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, I'm getting you. Good evening. Good evening here.
Can you get me?
Yes, I am getting you.
Yeah, okay. I'm getting you also, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for the program.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Costa Samba. I'm calling you from the Rototown community.
Okay, Carter.
Yeah.
So why you think ladies prefer male friendship as compared to female friendship or female friends?
Thank you so much. I mean, I have the statistics to agree with you on that. First of all, I want to let you know that I agree 100% with you that ladies prefer male friendship to that of female. And the reason for this is I want to attribute it based on social psychology. You know, when parents have their children, for female, when they are born as babies, and their parents, especially the male of the parents who, like the father, provide that attachment and connected care from, let's say, from pregnancy to birth, and then grow from the birth to becoming an adolescent and becoming a teenager and reaching the stage of an adult where they get to know themselves and even got into life.
Let's make the long story short.
Yeah, that attachment to the opposite sex, being the father, a male, she developed that attachment theory. So as a result, when she grows bigger and gets into a relationship where she can find a partner, you will find out that she will get more attached to the male because of that basis she has from her childhood time, from pregnancy to birth and things.
All right. Thank you for making your point. If this is a female caller, I will entertain you on this line. Hello?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of confused right here, getting the number of female and male line.
Okay, so call the usual line that you know of. Is on the 777-700-995-0880938939395. You can use those numbers, but the 0886-557-858 will be exclusive for females to call in. So let me go back to this line. I'm sure there's a caller here. Hello.
Yes, how you doing, Smith?
Well, I'm doing good.
My name is Harris, and I'm calling you on Mama Point.
Harris, please go ahead and tell me why you think ladies prefer a male friendship than female.
The reason is simple, because most of the time, the female prefer male relationship or friendship because they think they can benefit more from themselves than that from the female. That's just the underlying factor.
When you say benefit more, what do you mean?
For example, if a female is in need and she gets around her male counterpart, it will be easier for the guy to be able to give to that female when she's in need than for a female to give to a female when she's in need.
All right, thank you for your point. Someone says, yeah, because females got problems, and the major one is gossip. Another person says here, because males are more pleasant to be with, and you can confide in them, and your secret will be kept. Okay, another text says here, because female friends always run her mouth, while male friends keep your secret. Okay, so let's get talking here. 07777009950880939395. I'm attempting to take this call. I hope you are with me live on the radio. How are you?
Hello?
Yes, how are you?
You?
I'm good. You called to be on this radio, so now you go off the air. Okay, sorry, yeah. Let me go back to this line here. Hello.
Smith.
Yes, I'm here. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm okay. Good evening. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing good.
Well, thank you, Smith. This is a social conversation. Like you said, we have to put politics aside.
Yeah.
This is Charles R. Kennedy.
Go ahead, Charles.
Well, giving my own perspective about male to female relationship, I feel that the reason why is that females feel comfortable having a friendship with male is that, first of all, one, if you have a friendship with a male, you feel well protected. And the most important one there is male are people that have respect for women. Male are people that keep most especially female secret. So if for any reason a female came to me and tried to explain her problem to me, trying to see how best she can seek advice from me, she might not hear it probably to the next person. So if that is the case, why is it that female always love to feel free associating with male and trying to even go further by giving male their own personal secret because they feel more protected.
Okay, the female feel more protected. There's a text here because some of them can love to their friend boyfriend, and so that is what this text put here. Another one says because they have nothing to envy you on, and they always pray for the good for you, and with them your secret will be safe. Boys are 100% reliable, loyal, and fun to be with, unlike girls. Okay, so let's get talking on 0777-7009950880939395. This one is here. Hello. Yes, how are you?
Fine.
So what is your name?
Yeah, this is very significant. And we all would just care toward the same stage. Female love male counterparts to be their friend. Because they feel at ease, they feel relaxed to have conversations with male. Not because of sexual or whatsoever, but they feel relaxed. They don't want no material thing for any male when they're having conversation with male because they feel male can, best put their interest and keep their secret instead of sharing it. And we men, we don't like to sit with women when women share things with you, you share with others. Then which man you won't get a good friend like them.
Okay.
So it's good to be secret, secretive, and keep secret for women. And women also keep secret for men.
All right. Thank you. Thank you ever so much for making your point. I'm reading and taking your calls at the same time. Someone says here to avoid too much drama. That's why the females will prefer male as compared to female. Another person says here because they are 100% true to their friends than the female friends. Because female, okay, this one I'm not going to say it. To avoid gossip or chichipole, females are full of too much drama. Okay, so let's get talking. We still got some time here for you. Let me take the next caller. How are you? Yes, how are you?
Yeah, hello, Smith. And I want to say good evening to every one of the listeners and the callers.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Fode Kurubu Sharif. I join you from Central Monrovia.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, well, at this time, I just want to appreciate the leadership of the Coalition for Democratic Change.
Is that what we're talking here? Is that what we're talking here? Huh?
The chairman road, and I want to appreciate.
My man, please find somewhere else and talk that one here. Don't have to talk about different thing here. You can bring your Fode Kuduku Sherry appreciating chairman. You hear me talking about your chairman appreciating Sonny here? You listen to the radio here, join Sonny, you start calling. That's all I want to appreciate my chairman. Hello?
Yes, Smith, this is Joseph for.
How you do, Joseph? That man just want to have fun discussion with. I want to appreciate Chairman.
Well, I tell you, one of the reasons of females, some females are very let to be friends with females, is that they somehow feel protected. When I talk about protection, how to do with praising.
Yeah.
The male will keep secret, and the male will sometimes provide. When I talk about security in terms of maybe some guy or some ladies want to bring up some problem. They're gossiping, you're wearing your clothes and as soon as you turn your back, you see the other person saying, "Oh, but one of these you also," all kind of things.
Yeah.
Of course, when it comes with protection, they are all protection, so that's what they very need for us.
Okay, thank you ever so much. We're staying social right here, and we're asking a simple question, and so I'm taking your calls. There's one, some of your messages coming in says because you can confide to a male friend, and during the course of the friendship, there will be no jealousy and backbiting, unlike the female, because the male keeps secret. Another person says, the ladies prefer the male as friends because you can quickly confide in them than females. The females can quickly sell the female friends for to their enemies. I'm sure that's why you're trying to put right here. Then the male will do. Okay, thank you. Let's get talking. Eric, are you supporting male or female?
Yes, today I'm Jerome Peter speaking from District Number 9 once more.
Please go ahead.
I could remember when our boys coming up, those girls were into being in the community.
Yeah.
We used to play Costa together, we play nine-folk together, we play hide and seek, drinking party. And we all used to be together. No abusive language will come from us. Our parents used to admire us. We keep each other secret, but nothing like that used to be into our mix.
Yeah.
Just let somebody who let to comfort them, keep their secret, play with them, kickball, non-sport, hotspot, and all the ones that when you get along with them, they can share with you, and you share with them too. Okay. So the Lord somebody can keep that secret.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. There's a number pin on the Facebook. I'm hearing some text messages and people asking whether there's no diaspora number. There's a number there. So just look good on the screen. You'll see the number that you can call. The ladies, the ladies prefer the male as friends because I think I read this one already. I'm one of those that really like being around male friends. Most of our girlfriends don't like the truth. You become their enemy when you tell them the truth. They have nothing to do but sit and talk about their friends the whole day, and whole day thing, and that they know nothing about. So many things, my friends, but I will stop here for now. So that person says because they are not fake. They say the male friends are not fake. Male friends are the best. They keep the secret. Okay? Because male friends are the best. No chichipule. Okay, let's go to the line. More interaction coming right here. Let me take the next one. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, how are you? I don't know why the ladies are refusing to call. I want to hear from them too, but they're not calling me. Please go ahead.
My name is Matthew Zaza. I'll come to beat yourself.
Matthew Zaza?
Okay.
Okay.
The reason is very simple.
Yeah, what is the reason?
That was when my TC is add a lily. You mean you have the two.
Is it add a chick?
When somebody refer to you let the Alec woman. You mean that you're not the two. You don't keep secret. That you are quite different. Expect to damage. When a woman know about a friend woman, one into confusion or conflict.
Oh, they'll be explaining that.
The one who explain everything for people know what going on. But if that man and woman into confusion, that's part of that friendship or what sort of confusion and break up between them. That they will not discuss different things or want to bring the woman to public relative as compared to that friend. That's why they prefer men compared to women.
Thank you. Still on point right there. Some say they avoid the female friendship because of insecurity. Another person said, less drama. Just be friendly with the guys. I'm seeing a lot of praises for. I didn't know that our friendship with the ladies are, so important, right? So less drama. Yeah. When you friendly with your friend woman, so gossip and chichipuli and every other thing. Let me take a few more. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Toby. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good, and how are you?
Yeah, I'm Thomas Zhu. I just phoned you from my Cardwell resident.
Okay. Please make your point.
Just me, I think most of the callers are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Men are more secretive than women. Women, they like fussing. Whenever anything happens between the two, you hear the secret of the other person. So those who keep the secret of women, not just women in particular, but generally, if somebody that keeps a secret, you like to be friendly with that person more than another person. That's the point.
Okay, thanks for your point, Ruben. Draper, how you doing, Rube? It says here, from my experience, Liberian women don't know how to be a friend and the meaning of friendship. Okay, let me get on here. Because female always keep male secret. Now somebody else turned this around. They say the reason why the females are friendly, they love to be friendly with the male because they keep the male secret. Okay, some men talk too much too. Okay, that's another one. My male friends. Let me drop this call. Let me go back to this line. There's one caller on it. Please, John, just move away from the radio. How are you?
Not bad, sir.
Okay, so what is your name?
I'm Steven.
Steven?
Costa.
Okay, please go ahead, my brother.
Okay, the reason why you see women like boyfriends and girlfriends is just simple. It is because women, the deepest part of woman is secret. The deepest part of woman is secret.
Yeah.
So you would have can keep the secret for woman. It wouldn't be the let's say girlfriend, but the man can see that secret more than the woman. So that's why they always like to keep boyfriend
around
as friend.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your point. Let me take one more. Then I'll spin one or two songs before we go home today. We enjoy the rest of our time together right here on The Conversation, OK FM 99.5. I told the ladies to call me on 0886557858. I'm yet to receive a female caller on this show, but I'm hearing the men talk a lot like they do in politics. Let me take this next one. How are you?
I'm doing that a little bit. I'm doing well.
Okay, so what is your name?
This is George Benard.
Hey, Georgie, how are you? Please go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I can enjoy you on the topic. This is the kind of middle actually choose on love for our love team, especially those girls out there. But they don't actually have love for them, but they don't have love. I've seen this girl in the one have love for, but actually that's the show love. So the guy is continue this one, I think you'll always be having response because you cannot be having love for. But then you want to cannot show love.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, folks. I'm sure at this point I will stop right here and say thanks to all of you for making up for the time. It's always a wonderful time when we are together in this form and getting your radio sound better. So let me flip in a song. Stop preaching genocide. Let's go back in town. It's my time for me to walk. Stop preaching genocide. While some people in church praying, some preaching genocide. Don't get fooled by the hymn singing, yeah? Some preaching genocide. Genocide. His name is Eddie Grant. Somewhere back in the 80s on this one. We gotta stop saying. I enjoy myself now, yeah? I tell you what your politics for this week. When God created women, He knew women's best friend would be best option. And that's why they are obeying God, making men the best friend. Stop preaching genocide. Stop preaching. I got 5 minutes to be sitting in here and rocking you until 6 o'clock. I'll be walking out. We got the news coming up at 6:15. The big walk in town is on Saturday. The Orchid FM Heft Walk. Join in for Ewa State Hefty. We can party together all time. Enjoy the fun. Let me do the zone here for you, Reverend Brown. How you doing? Stop preaching genocide. All of you wonderful people out there. Way back in time, man. It's not often you hear more these days kind of music on this show. I look for the old songs. We gotta know we got listeners. My man Josephus Eric Tokpa Kennedy can relate to this one. Yes, I tell you, stop preaching genocide. I told you we can break all the news here before we leave. I got one news coming in. I'm going to break that news before the news break. My man Abraham Darius Data is looking for this song right now. And so he tells me he's moving, he's shaking his body. Stop preaching genocide. I don't know what they're doing, doing. If I was singing for Living Bar, I think that I'll be walking away right here. What did they say? What did they say? Yeah. You want to hear me close your ear? Sometimes we ball, we enjoy, we close up. Thinking about singing. God bless. Looking for the pound wine in town. They made a say from God to man. They be enjoying balling. You better stop preaching genocide. Genocide. I got one news for you, so leave your radio on. I'm going to read what the president has just instructed. President George Manawia is in the news. The news before the news is right here. Okay, I'll come back to another music before I go because I'm hearing that the president of the state, the president of the land, His Excellency George Manawia. Breaking news coming right now is that the president of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency George Weah, has directed the LRA, that's the Liberia Revenue Authority, to reduce the tariff on basic commodities in the country. Just a few minutes ago, Heron Costa was talking about something in this direction. Now the president has directed the LRA to reduce the tariff on basic commodities in the country. President George Manawia has directed the Liberia Revenue Authority to present a new schedule to ensure immediate tariff reduction on wide range of basic commodities imported into the country. I'm going to stop here. The details is just ahead of you in our news. Let me not take the gist out of the news. The news is coming up just here, so you can wait for our news. But the big news in town is that's why you got it. And the news people will want to kill me in here if I take all of the meat out of the news for them. But folks, my time to go, and I'm going home this way. Bang, 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 bang. We're back. This is where you found all of the start of it. Where we go? Theodore celebrated her birthday. She had one honeymoon the next day. She took her own day off. She came to work today after her birthday. More than the royal family people. But just birthday till honeymoon. I want to see the next one. Okay, folks, my name is Smith Toby. Thanks to Josephus Eric Kennedy. He's been supervising this presentation today. And thanks to Theodore for helping me on camera. Thanks to McDonald Shanga, my sound technician. Thanks to all of our friends on the Facebook for viewing us today. This face of mine will be here. When it's going to be? It's going to be on Monday. Monday, I got some big guests lined up. I'm sure I'll be telling you. I can give you one name that will be here on Monday. Can I say Honorable Dr. Nathaniel Bams will be here on Monday. Lineup next week include Senator Dan Marias and others. I'm awaiting the arrival of the conclusion of the First Lady. Maybe sometime next week. But until then, thanks to Olive Stevenson for the music. You know music, I can call your name a music video. The Goza. Oh, what are you doing with the studio? Bye bye, folks.